Hello everyone, Glitchwag here today, and I'm back with a Sony Vegas tips and tricks tutorial. This is just going to be a quick little tutorial, I guess, on 6 different tips and tricks I found in Sony Vegas over my year or so of using the program. Hopefully you learned at least something from it. I don't really know, just stuff I thought would be worthy combining into a video. Anyway, let's get right into it. For this example, I will be using 2 different methods. I will be having a method where it is in the default Sony Vegas program. There's no other extra plugins, but it applies the effect to the entire video track that the video thing you're trying to affect is on. So it'll affect this sample text as well as this sample text if it was different as well. It wouldn't just affect this singular one, which sometimes you want to do. So the first thing you do if you're doing it the default Sony Vegas way is you go over to track motion, which is the little arrow pointing to a box, and then this comes up. This might show up, but I didn't for me, so you expand this over to where you can see 2D shadow and 2D glow. Now 2D shadow is just a default way to automatically get the black, but you can also do it with 2D glow, and you could also turn the glow to black, but I'm going to do it with the shadow. So you want to line this box in the middle up here, up with the thing, so it fits perfectly, right about there. Then these 3 options, these 3 options up here for the 2D shadow are the settings for your shadow, so you can mess with the blur, the color, and the intensity. So let's say I want to make the intensity a bit bigger, kind of like that. That looks kind of harsh though, so let's say we put it up to there. Looks really harsh, but if we blur it a bit more, not as much, it looks a bit better. I think we might want to turn the intensity down. You can fiddle with the settings. It creates kind of a pretty drop shadowy effect, but then again it also doesn't look the best. Alright, the second way that I know how to do this is by using a plugin that actually came with Sony Vegas itself. It's one that costs money, but for me it came with Sony Vegas 13, so I did not have to pay for it. It's New Blue Effects V6 Chroma Key Pro OpenFX. Whatever. As long as it has the ability to apply an outline, then this should work. They give you a very nice outline around your sample text, and then you can just use the soften to make a very, very nice looking drop shadow. That is clean, that is crisp, and that makes the word pop out. It makes it a lot easier to read against a white background. So that's the second way to do it, using that plugin. And while we have this up, I just want to note one more little tip I have. If you ever go in here and you're messing around with your video event FX, and you accidentally click one of these up here, except you don't know that you clicked it, you might end up having something that looks like this. This looks messy, and you kind of have to scroll to access some of the sliders over here. Now the way to fix this is you probably saw when I clicked up here, there's 1 column, 2 column, and 3 column. You can just go back to 1 column, you could stretch it out to 2 columns, or even 3 columns. I like to keep stuff at 1 column to, I don't know, just keep everything compact and in the same area. The next little tip will be on how to fix pretty much any black bars. Now, this method isn't the best for when black bars are extremely extreme, I guess, but because it uses stretching, basically. Now, most times though, what will fix it and make it look good is if you go to Properties, Disable Resample, unclick Maintain Aspect Ratio. Hit OK. It should fix it sometimes, but most of the times, for me at least, it doesn't. That's because these black bars are recorded in with the footage, so they can't really remove the black bars without removing parts of the footage. So, a way that I fix these, note these are quite small black bars, is I uncheck in the video event effects pan crop, I uncheck size about center and lock aspect ratio, and then I can use the bottom thing to stretch it out, and the top one, bring it down a bit, and stretch it out. Now, the video plays, and it plays completely with no black bars throughout the entire thing. I think it's pretty nice, but it also does stretch the video, so it won't work for some bigger black bars. Alright, the next little tip I have is actually a pretty cool one. Now, let's say you import a picture into your video, and it looks like this. Well, that's fine, and you want to be able to move it around. So you go into pan and crop, and you want to move it around, but you can't, because there seems to be these black lines that the picture just disappears behind, because that was the dimensions of the original picture, and it's not letting it move past that. A really easy way to fix this is by going up here and clicking 16:9 widescreen TV aspect ratio. It zooms it in a lot, but you can zoom out, and then you can move your picture all over the entire screen without any black bars hindering your progress. You can also do this for transparent images. This Arby's picture disappears behind these two separating lines, but if I go here to 16:9, zoom out, I can move it anywhere. Oh, what fun. This next little trick is also pretty helpful. It's a way to move all the video clips that are either grouped together or are in the same video track at once if they are behind the clip that you are trying to move. What you do is you select auto ripple down here, and it will allow you to click on a clip and move all of the clips on that timeline that are behind it. It's also moving the audio, as you can see, because the audio is grouped with the video. Now, this won't move this clip up here because it's in front of it, and it makes it a lot easier because if you uncheck this, you can now move, let me move it, you can now move the video clips back and forth through each other. Now, if you wanted to move all these back, if you didn't know how to do this, you might have to go and then, oh whoops, and then move this one back, and then move the next one back, but with this tip, you can basically just select them all and move them all back. Okay, and the last trick, I will be going into my outro.veg to show you guys. In my outro, I have an animation of Deal With It glasses flying into the screen at every beat of the drum. Well, because of this, there are lots of different images flying in. As you can see, I have over probably 30, and they go all the way up until pretty much the end. Now, this looks like a fairly messy project. Really, all that the people end up seeing is these four, and then just flying in. But to keep a neater project, and you can even do this with some projects that aren't as big and annoying, you can basically just go over here and hold Control, select all the tracks that you want to group down into one little selection. And keep going, keep going, keep going. Alright, now that I have all the video tracks that have the Deal With It glasses selected, I can right click on any one of them and go down to Track Group, Group Selected Tracks. Now, they don't automatically all compress. You go up to the top and it gives you a place to name your track and a little arrow that will collapse and expand it. So first let's name it. You double click in the naming area, and I'll just call this Deal With It Animation. And there you go. Then to collapse it, boom. Click on that, and now all of those Deal With It glasses are now compressed into this tiny little rectangle, and you can even see a little shadow of how they progress up in the timeline background. And the video still functions as normal. If I play through, you can see that the glasses are flying in and out. Alright guys, hopefully you learned something from this little tricks and tips video. I know it was pretty random, but I decided to just compress a bunch of stuff I knew into one video. Hopefully it helped someone maybe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.